guys, welcome to this pre-built video in The Sims 4. My name is Irene and today I am building my hilltop mansion. This video is a part in the series going on my channel right now called Real to Sims, and in that series I'm trying to recreate real life houses to best of my ability in The Sims 4, and today that's the case as well. I found a picture of this house months ago and I saved it on my Pinterest account months ago. I love the look of it and I knew at a certain point I wanted to do something with it in the game, and today is the day. I think it's even kind of the reason why I started this Real to Sims series, because I didn't want to use that picture of the house just as an inspiration for a build, but I just really wanted to try to recreate it in the game, especially with the entire hill underneath the house with all the terraces and the bushes and the flowers and everything. And I love the modern kind of on the edge of futuristic look of the house. I started off with just that one picture, but of course I investigated the house for this build and I found a website with a lot of information about the house, with pictures of the exterior but the interior as well, and even floor plans. So of course I will put a link to the website in the description box down below so you can check it out for yourself if you want. And yeah, I could really use that in this Real to Sims build, of course, but I had to improvise with a couple of different things. The real house has a lot of strange angles, and in the game you can only build with a 45 or 90 degree angles. So I had to improvise with that a little bit. And even though while I'm using this 64 by 64 lot, and later on I would change it up in another lot, but we'll get into that later on. They're the biggest lots available in the game, and yeah, I've said it before, I will say it again. I want bigger lots in the game. In my dreams we even have a free building in the game, but I think yeah, I have to keep on dreaming with that. But 64 by 64, the biggest lots available, and I didn't even have enough space here. So yeah, I improvised a little bit with the layout and with these angles. But I still really wanted to recreate it best to my ability in the game. I started it off with these fences to create the hill on the ground here, and this was really the most time consuming part of this entire build. Normally a build takes me about 2 days, sometimes 3 days, but yeah, this one took me about a week. Yeah, it was so time consuming, and it sounds like complaining, but I love every single minute of it. And especially with the whole trial and error process of these fences, and later on with some other things and with the bushes and everything. But yeah, that's the reason why I cut a lot in the footage. I could easily make this a video about 2.5 hours, but my goal for my videos is always about 20 minutes, and this one is even a bit longer. But I cut a lot in the repetitive parts and even in the interior. There's a fitness area, a gym, an office, and a kitchen, a living room, of course. And you can see how I'm decorating everything in these rooms. But there are a couple of bedrooms and bathrooms. And you can see me do, I think, 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. But yeah, I just had to cut a little bit in the footage. But of course, you can pull this build of the gallery, because I will put it up on the gallery so you can put it in your own game if you want, and then you can see that everything is really furnished, everything functions. But yeah, as I said, I just really had to cut in the footage because it took me so long to build, and that's one of the reasons why I didn't upload last Friday. I'm so sorry you guys for that. Normally my goal for uploads is 3 times a week. I really want to keep on uploading, and yeah, with 3 times a week and especially with bigger builds, I'm challenging myself a little bit lately. And yeah, some of these builds takes me so much time, especially with the landscaping that I'm doing or with some other things that I never did before. And of course I have a normal job as well, and a full-time job, so I didn't manage to upload 3 times last week. And yeah, I just really want to prioritize the builds on my channel, you know. I made the decision a couple of months ago that I didn't want to cut up builds in several parts anymore. before. I want to, when you click on the video, you can see the start and the end of the house just in one video. And I don't want to build less cooler things or things that takes me less time just for the sake of uploading 3 times a week. So yeah, my goal will always be 3 times a week, but I think in the future as well, 2 times a week will be happening too, especially when I'm doing bigger builds. So I really hope you don't mind. But let's talk about this build a little bit more. I wanted to explain how I did the entire hill underneath the house. I created just a small hill on the ground. I raised the ground up over the entire lot at first because I knew I wanted to make a hill just at the bottom of the bottom layer as well. So I raised the ground up just over the entire lot, and then I used debug items, debug fences to create the basic shape of the first layer. These debug fences, they came with the base game, and they came in 2 different shapes, one rounded one and one straight one. And these ones are a little bit lighter. There's a darker version as well. That's a debug item that came with Get Together, and of course you can use them too if you want. But I thought, these ones were a little bit lighter and I love the look of them a little bit better. If you want to enter these debug items, I talked about that before, but I always get the question how to enter these debug items. You want to use a double cheat. Of course, first of all, you have to use a Ctrl+Shift+C to unlock the cheat box on your screen, and then you want to type in bb.showHiddenObjects. And after that, bb.showLive and edit objects. And then you want to type in debug in your search bar, the left corner of your screen. And then you get a whole array of debug items. Over 1,000. They're amazing. They're not ordered in any kind of fashion. So sometimes you really have to look for an item. But I use them in every single build. And for these fences as well. But as I said, I raised the ground up and then I placed the just basic shape of the first layer. Then I raised the ground up just in between these first layer, just at the edge of the fence. And then I started with the second layer. I raised the ground up as well. Third layer, raised the ground up as well. And the fourth layer, of course. Now you can still see where all these fences are attached to each other, but I think later on when I'm placing in all the bushes, the shapes will get a little bit more fluid and a little bit more round. I'm on the driveway here right now, and I think in a couple of seconds, here we are, I changed up the lot. I started it on 64 by 64 lot. This is a 64 by 64 as well, in the world that came with the Get Famous pack. I always want to say Silicon Valley. I know that's not the same, not the name of that world. I'm not sure anymore, but I wanted to start it there because the real house was in Beverly Hills, and I think the world that came with Get Famous is a little bit based off Beverly Hills, on the Hollywood Hills, I think. And I thought because of that reason it was the most fitting for it. But I really wanted to recreate the look of the house on the pictures that I had. And at the background of the pictures there were a lot of trees and a lot of hills. And the lot where I started out on just a couple of minutes ago had hills at the background as well, but just a couple of trees. And it looked a little bit empty. And the color was a little bit too yellow for my liking, and maybe that sounds a bit strange. But there are a couple of worlds in the game that has a little bit of a yellow glow. The base game Desert World is one of them, and there it's very extreme. When you want to place in white walls there or white items, they all have a strange yellow glow. And in the world that came with Get Famous, you also have the yellow glow. Not that much on the house itself, but on the grass and everything. And I thought this lot was just a little bit better for it, and I fell in love with this lot while building my Canyon container house I did last week. I wanted to thank everybody for all the positive comments on that house. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. But that house, when I did a Canyon house, was the first time that I used that lot. And I just love the light here and the background here, the color of the ground here. And I saved this house to my gallery or my library, and I placed it on a couple of different 64 by 64 lots. The one in Windenburg as well, the one on the islands, and the one in the city or on the edge of the city, but I just liked this lot the best. So that's why I went with this lot, especially with the backgrounds and all the trees that you can see at the background, because I knew I had to place a lot of trees just all around the house. You can see I'm started doing that right here. I started doing that right here. I also placed a couple of rocks just at the edges of the lots. They were debug items as well. And they came with cats and dogs. So they came with the pack that also had this world where I'm building in. And I think these rocks are normally cliffs in the sea that is in Brindleton Bay. And there are a lot of positive things about these rocks. I use them a lot actually, and they clip into the ground, and that's really a positive thing, because normally when you want to place in items on a hill or something, you cannot really place them on a hill. They just stick in the air, they're just floating. But these rocks, they really stick in the ground, and you can really make that natural look. But I was talking about the trees. I knew I had to place a lot of trees just all around this entire house, because it was the same case on the picture as well. And because there were a lot of trees at the background of this lot that I used, I knew which trees I wanted to use, and to make it look a little bit more natural. So all the trees that I used are from the cats and dogs pack. Some of them are debug items, some of them are just normal items. You can find them all just in the normal items, but the very bright green one, that's just a normal item as well, as you could just saw me place in, and I changed up the color, but the normal tree came with some cherry blossom and with a softer green, but didn't came with this brighter green or this darker brighter green. But when you go to the base game, or just not the base game, to the debug items, you have that same tree but with different swatches. So that's an amazing thing. I don't know why they didn't incorporate these swatches just in the normal item as well. But it's the same case for the other trees that I used, just with the small brown edges. They're just a normal item, but a debug item as well. And as a debug item, there are a little bit more swatches to use. So yeah, that's why I use them as debug items the most. But if you want to recreate this house or do something with it, you can just use these normal trees as well. You just have a bit of a different color. I placed some trees here just on the house too, because that was the case on the picture as well. I used the same trees that I used just all around the house. I thought it looked the best to use the same, and in that way the whole house just flows a little bit into the nature as well, because it's just one story high, it's quite low, and I wanted to make it look like it was a part of the hill. And when I used these same trees, I thought, it looked a little bit more natural. I sized them down as far as I could, and we're already on a totally different part, but I sized these trees down as far as I could. And I used some pedestals that came with the Get to Work pack in the wood color, and I raised the trees up, and you can raise up items with Ctrl 9 or Ctrl 0 on your keyboard when you have activated the Move Object cheat though. But when you did it, you can raise these items up. So I raised the trees up a little bit to place them on this pedestal. And that way make them a little bit more like big plants over there than trees, or just decorative trees in that way. But the entire exterior of the house and the entire landscaping is finished, and we're on to the interior right now. All the furniture that I use that is outside, so with the pool, is very white. And of course I took a good look at the picture that I had and the pictures that I had of the interior. The exterior furniture, on the picture was also very white and very bright, and in the interior there were a lot of darker brown touches with a kind of a beige color. and with some blue touches and with some artwork. And I really took a good look, I'm sorry, at these pictures that I had of the interior. And if you want to see them for yourself as well, just click on the website and you can see all these pictures, of course. So yeah, I think I'm going to cut off this voiceover by now. I said everything that I wanted to say, and I don't want to make this voiceover longer and just ramble on about things that I don't want to say anymore. So yeah, in the rest of this video you can see how I'm doing the rest of the interior, of course, this office, this fitness area, all the other things going on. So I really hope you will enjoy the rest of this video. I hope you've enjoyed this video in general. If you did, please give it a like or a comment or something. If you have some requests for me to build, please let me know as well. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. I would really appreciate it. I try to do a lot of different things. You with me builds to keep you guys inspired for your own builds as well. And I really hope to talk to you soon, maybe in one of my next videos, or maybe you want to watch one of my previous videos. It's possible, of course, as well. And yeah, I hope you have a great day today. Goodbye.